very good thing prior to it. I mean, maybe he tried to fake a bit. It didn't really work out, and little did he know about that until it was too late. But let's introduce the players, and if you don't mind, I'm gonna go ahead and do it once again. It is in the bottom left, Sjaak, and I must forgive me, I always forget the name, so I'm not really sure what KS stands for. You can correct me because you have done so before.
Knights Gaming.
Knights Gaming. That's an interesting... It sounds a little bit MMO-ish, but I'm sure they are all a bunch of good fellas. And of course, to mention Sjaak is the green pros.
And in the top left, we do have our pink Zerg player, Victor, in game number 1, just via overwhelming force and just a lot of units, crushing that little strange timing from Sjaak. His name is Jona, and he is on team Lowland Lions. And actually, I want to go ahead and say really quickly, I'm assuming that's just an extractor trait. Okay, freaking me out for a second there.
Yeah.
But anyway, going into this, our viewer count has doubled pretty much. I think WCS may have toned down a bit, so gonna go ahead and welcome all the new viewers who are now tuning into the stream. And once again, this is the Dutch StarCraft League. The live finals are in 2 days in The Hague, so definitely come to that if you can. It should be a great event with great production, great players. Big names like Rhett and Harston will be there. Should be a lot of fun to watch, so definitely tune into that online or visit it live if you can. It should be a great event, and I'm very much looking forward to it myself.
Yeah, I do as much as you. I would like to claim, of course, the both of us not really going to be able to tune in live, so to say, but it will be streamed, and I bet it's gonna reach quite a high amount of stream. And I know that I will be amongst those because I'm really looking forward to seeing what all these amazing players can do. We're having a gateway expand once again from Sjaak. Fairly odd pylon placement on that second pylon, I must say, but I'm not sure what the intention with that was, but it's sort of the same exact play from both players this time. However, no, actually, let me correct myself. Jona going for the pool first this time.
Yeah, a bit more of a slightly safer build. I mean, they're still against Sjaak right now. No cannon rush or anything. So nothing to really worry about tremendously. The hatch first probably would have been fine. And as far as pylon placements in this base is concerned, I mean, this main base actually has a tremendous amount of surface area. So I don't really blame them for trying to get some spotting on like off areas of the space. It's really, really big. I mean, there's so much space to the north of that nexus.
Yeah, I'm thinking though, what would concern me is if sometimes you see Zergs trying to hide an overlord at that spot, despite the fact that you can actually reach it from both sides with a stalker. And if that would be the case, you don't want to use that pylon to hide some tech. That would be a not so good place to hide tech in case we see that small pocket of air being filled up with an overlord. And we talked a bit about early thirds last time. I feel that Jona is topping himself, and he's going for an even earlier this time, before his natural even finishes. And this is not something weird versus Forge Fast Expand, but let's consider we're up against a Gateway Expand. A Gateway Expand without scouting, though, and that might be quite crucial.
Yeah, and if against the Nexus coming in now from Sjaak, I feel like Jona should be fine against this. I mean, the 3 hatches, by the time actually Sjaak gets where he wants as far as unit production is concerned and would consider an attack, the production and economy will have ramped up already for Jona. Having 3 hatches of production is really, really nice early on. And I mean, he's shown that he likes to basically just get out massive swarms of units. Zerglings, not the most effective as far as larva is concerned unit to make. So if you have an extra hatchery, that's more lings. You can make them more. And I think this really fits his style, going for this very, very fast third hatchery.
Yeah, and we're seeing both players basically doing what they did last game, but stepping it up a notch in terms of timings, both going for very early representatives of what they did last game. We're seeing the Stargate being put down at precisely the location I feared he shouldn't have put down, but it's nowhere right now. And this Stargate, I'm not sure if it's gonna play so well. I mean, I guess he could surprise his opponent because it's it's not very early, but we also see gas being taken at an earlier timing than we saw last time.
Yep, so I would like to see maybe like commit to the style a bit more, because in the last game he made like a couple of Phoenixes and like a casual Void Ray and then moved out with a weird group of units. I'd like to maybe see him stick with it, get more Phoenixes out, try to bother the opponent with some harass, pick off some drones, pick off some queens, and try to limit the production and economy of Jona a bit with those Phoenix, instead of just using them to kill overlords, kind of only really near his base, honestly. He did not put those Phoenix to good use in the previous game.
Yeah, I believe he only went 1 Phoenix. This time, we're gonna see if he... Oh, there we have the second Phoenix in production, which is... I like Phoenixes. I think they're an amazing unit, and a bit underused even for how absolutely great they are. So I'm glad to see that he's actually going for this type of Stargate play instead of that Void Ray, which I would say was even more useless than the one Phoenix last game.
Yep, I agree 100% with that. And, well, we do see, Sjaak already bashing on these destructible rocks, looking to move towards that third base pretty quickly here. And, well, let's see how successfully he's defending that. And if Jonah gets out like that big, huge group of kind of like early layer sort of units with the massive Roach links, well, this third base could be pretty difficult to take, but it is also easier to defend. I mean, this is Akalon Waste, which is kind of like I would call it the prototypical Protoss turtling on 3-base sort of map, so it could still work out.
Yeah, that's sort of what we usually expect when we see any toss on this map, really. I mean, it has the very safe third bases, and you can always kill down the rocks leading into the third from the outside. Phoenix is on their way out, and Spore's just now being planted out, so I expect a couple of drone kills, maybe even the Queen, depending on how he prioritizes it, and he goes for the production first. However, he's gonna need 2 lifts, because he didn't wait for his 4 Phoenix.
Yep, and we'll go ahead and take that Queen out, and he's already being a bit more obnoxious with these Phoenix than he did before. If you can force out a Hydra Den and make him at least commit to that a bit, that's really nice. I don't think he'll quite do that. It's not enough Phoenix to really warrant that quite yet, but nope, he will go for the Hydra Den, so that is a small victory there for, actually not even a small victory, a decent victory there for Sjaak, as he is adding on a robotics facility, and Hydras, like we said before, Colossus melt them absolutely if there's not really a way to deal with them, so we'll have to see how well that pans out. And yeah, these Phoenix doing the job they were designed for and doing it brilliantly. Supply blocking Jonah, taking out a couple of Queens, looking pretty good so far.
Yeah, those Phoenix has got quite actually going for a couple of drones right now. Got to be careful. One of them is on very, very low health, but getting quite a lot of map control, scouting very, very well. Haven't really peeked into the main though, and getting all this overload. So they're fairly successful. This third though, I feel might be a bit late. As soon as you see that your opponent doesn't really have an army with those Phoenixes, I think you should just go for it. And nothing really stopped him from going all the way around, except being slightly lazy, perhaps.
Yeah, but that third base, is now on the way. Destructible Rock Tower knocked down, so that's a nice little barrier there to deal with any sort of aggression that could come from our Zerg player. In the meantime, even putting that pylon up to spot if anything starts bashing on that Destructible Rocks and starts threatening his third base. So, well, if he gets on that third base and builds up the composition he wants, I feel he'll be in a significantly better position than last game. But I'm very curious to see how Jonah decides to shape his composition now that he does have the Hydra Den. Hydra's finding these Phoenix right now, and Phoenix in low numbers do decently against Hydras, but once they run out of energy, they can't do a whole lot, so they are forced to back out now. After getting a couple pickoffs, one Phoenix does go down, but the other one's not taking a whole lot of hull damage, so...
Yeah, in proper numbers...
There, but yeah.
Yeah, in proper numbers, Phoenix has absolutely demolished Hydras, but I thought that maybe there were 1 or 2 Hydras too many there, and then it just escalates, and it's basically a downward spiral. I really hope this Colossus, which existence is such varianted right now, could actually be chrono boosted out, because these Hydras could deal so much damage, and the speed upgrade finally came through. Let's see if they actually can snipe a couple of buildings here, maybe even break the wall off. Oh, the Mothership Core in a very, very nasty position, but it's not really focused down either. It looks like Force Fields and Zealots going to clean this up.
Yeah, it cleans up with even before the Colossus comes out. Once that's out, these Hydras really can't do a whole lot of anything, and the Colossus will be here in a couple of seconds. Won't have Thermal Lance, but still should be very effective, especially against Time Warp from that Mothership Core. And here does come the Colossus, and that'll force these Hydras to run away. But the problem with Hydras is they're not brilliant at really running away. But looks like Sjaak's just going to let him go with that, and... Yeah, liking Sjaak's position a lot here, but this little army ball for Jonah will run around and start bashing on the rocks down here. But that is spotted out by this pylon, so Sjaak knows exactly what's going on here and shouldn't really be in any sort of actual trouble. Like I said, there's a Zerg run by, if those wings get in. Oh, there's a hole in the wall there, and this actually is a lot of trouble for him if he can't deal with these very fast. They do have speed, so they do run in very well. Zealots, a couple being warped in to try and deal with this, and they should engage actually pretty cost-effectively the way they are against those Lings. But back at the third base, Colossus and Force Fields dealing with these Hydras pretty well. Third base not taking any damage at all. And in the main base, these Lings being dealt with by Zealots. And I feel like Sjaak handled that pretty much as well as he could have, and he's defending these 3 bases brilliantly so far.
Yeah, I was really worried right there because...
Going?
Yeah, I was a bit confused. I think he misclicked when he tried to move them away, but... Yeah, it looks like the past observers actually commented.
I think I understand that much Dutch, I believe.
Yeah, I don't understand much Dutch at all, but the probes, it's quite an obvious thing to talk about. And I mean, you're entirely right. That position was really frightening. I could feel my Pro's insides almost melting from how much damage could have been accomplished right there. But Sjaak actually defended that really, really well. And he has a couple of more sentries now. The two Colossus are out, and the third one is actually supply blocked, but, well, technically on its way. And right now, oh, the tech switching. I don't know if he will be able to deal with this tech switching. This could be very, very brutal.
Yeah, I mean, the Corruptors are there to help kind of tank the Phoenix as well. There's really just no way that, I mean, the Phoenix obviously can like kind of run and kite as long as they can, but there's no way they can really deal with this army that's coming up from Jonah. And this is, yeah, like you said, this tech switch is going to do a lot of work. Because right now, what is there other than the Phoenix to deal with this? There's a couple of sentries. That's about it, really. Going to warp in some stalkers, but the stalker count right now isn't quite enough, I don't think. And, well, I'm curious to see how well this goes. And mutas have not been revealed quite yet, I don't think. Where are they, actually? Where did they fly to? They're in the main base.
I really did not notice the sort of Phoenix production beyond the 5 we saw earlier. We do have a couple of Phoenixes, and maybe, just maybe, they will be able to stop these mutas. But if they hit at once, and they wreck a mineral line, and with these Corruptors, maybe the Colossus, I can't really see any defense here from the Pros. But the SimCity might be enough, actually. I'm not really sure.
Well, he's definitely pulling the army away from the front, and a lot of probes can go down here at this third base, at the very least, it looks like. Actually, the pull is pretty good, and the Focus Fire not exactly there. They're going to actually try and take down this Nexus, but that's not going to happen. The Stalker count has increased a little bit since we last checked in, so going to force them back just a bit there. But, well, he's a little scared to take this front-on engagement here, and this will give Sjaak a bit more time to build up an army that's a bit more capable, perhaps, of reacting to these Mutalisks, and well, let's see what else he's investing into. He has that second Stargate now completed, so he's making 2 Phoenix at a time, which is one way to deal with it for sure. +2 on the way as well. That'll help the Stalkers out against the Lings, against the Mutalisks as well. So his tech is being a pretty good choice here. The probes have been pulled pretty quickly. That's a lot of Ps, but continuing to harass on multiple fronts, almost looking like U-Thermal here, trying to attack on every front at the same time. But once again, defending pretty well on both sides is Sjaak. He's really got this 3-base turtle thing down pretty pat. He's been defending brilliantly so far.
Yeah, and I would just say that the strongest point of those mutas has now definitely passed. We're seeing the Phoenixes, and of course the very good +2 range, which will even enable Corruptor kiting coming out as soon as that fleet beacon is done. And that upgrade does not take very long to research. Actually, even Storm on the way. I'm a bit surprised about that. That's a very heavy gas investment. And these mutas accomplishing a bit of damage and not really being dealt with for too much.
Yeah, well, actually, just straight take the fight here, and with the Corruptors, I think Protoss Zerg can take this. Trying to focus fire down some Colossus as well, doing a fair bit of damage, and these Colossi, well, you don't really want to see them go down, and, well, let's see if Zerg decides to stick with his composition so far, seeing how he's forcing Protoss to really react to what he's doing. Actually, Zerg is ahead in supply by 1 billion now, I've just noticed here, really. And, I mean, Sjaak really can't react to this, and he's just actually just go down, and, well, the Muta Switch, like you said, just couldn't quite handle it, it looks like.
Yeah, we saw there at the end a lot of Corruptors in production. I mean, once he gets rid of those Phoenixes, there's absolutely nothing to stop all those mutas, basically, and they could have wrecked absolutely everything. So that tech switch, absolutely, surprising, basically, and getting Sjaak completely caught off guard, and that should be